Thanks, Nigel, for joining me in this conversation and for our Anglo-Indian Aussie Week, right?
Thank you.
And without
Thank you.
wasting any time, Nigel, please tell us more about yourself and what you're doing.
Well, I'm based in Melbourne. I've been living um, in an area called the Mornington Peninsula, which is the beach end of Victoria down the south. And I've been here for 5 years. Prior to that, I was in the city in Melbourne. But we arrived in Australia in 1971 from England. And we left India in 1960. So I was born in Bombay in 1955. So we've had a bit of, we've been around the world a little bit there, ending up here in Melbourne. And yeah, I love Australia. It's my base. I've worked, in many countries, Asia, America, England, Europe. But yeah, Melbourne's my home. I love it.
And your filmmaking journey?
Well, filmmaking journey started, I suppose, with my love of photography. I got into photography in the early '80s, and you know, I'm talking about 35 mil still photography. But then eventually, I joined Kodak, the world premiere film company, and spent many years with them. So I had additional training with when I was at Kodak. Also went to uni and studied photography for a little while, and became an imaging specialist with them. So I was able to transition from conventional film uh, and into digital. So I left Kodak in 1996. I was manager for multimedia back then, when multimedia was, not many people even knew what it was about. So yeah, I've got a good cross section of
Now,
conventional film and also digital.
now, now, the film space is where you specialize in, right? And you're moving there. Is Nigel, how did you start? When you're getting into film, what was your first film? What made you make sure that this is what I'm going to continue doing? And what are your main subjects?
Well, as I said, still photography was a passion with me. And as I traveled the world, I was able to luckily, take my camera everywhere I went. So, I love creating images and then doing things with them, especially with Adobe Photoshop and software packages like that. So I did photo books and I did, um, you know, uh, photo competitions, those sorts of things. But I'd always had a love of the moving image. I loved watching film when I was young. Started at a young age, 9 or 10 years old, going to watch the Saturday morning films, that sort of thing. So when I was traveling India in 2010, I think it was, I met Harry McClure. Harry's the owner and editor of Anglos in the Wind magazine. I met him in Chennai, and he was talking to me about a film that he was writing at the time, a film called Going Away. And he said, "Look, can you help in any way?" And I said, "Look, I've always been interested in making a film. How about I'll give you some money, you write the film, and then you send it to me. I'll see whether we go ahead and spend some more money to produce it." And yeah, 12 months later, he sent me the screenplay, and I said, "Yep, I'll get some funding, some more money, and we'll go ahead and shoot it." So that's what happened. Hi, this is Nigel Foote coming to you from Chennai in India. I'm here with my good friend Harry McClure. Hi, Harry.
Hi.
We're here to tell you some exciting news. Last year we made a film called Going Away, which was directed and written by Harry, produced by myself. We shot it here in Chennai. But in 2012, that's when I made my first film as producer with Harry directing, and yeah, it was and also, I wanted to find out whether I actually liked the subject, whether I liked the process of filmmaking, and I did. I fell in love with it straight away, and I've not stopped been creative around film and the moving image since then. And that film, you can see that film on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm going to put a link so that everybody can actually watch it. And I request everybody has to watch it. It was incredible.
It's a
Now,
great film, great, and I must say too, it set a precedence because that's the first film written, produced, and also involving a cast and crew that are Anglo-Indian. That was the first one, and the money also came from Anglo-Indian. Yep.
now we've got to put our money where our mouth is, right? And where you've done such an incredible job. You're showcasing the community to the world in a way, right? Even the Indian in me, which is fantastic. I was a part of it, and I loved every minute working with you. How should we kind of push it mainstream? What do Anglo Indians need to do? What is your solution and your framework which you think that we should follow or look at?
Well, look, first let me say that I'm a businessman. I've had a few businesses for over 35 years, successful businesses that are still going, still working at. So you have to be a businessman first to make film. Everyone's an artist, but you know there are a lot of artists that never get to actually get their work seen or created. So first of all, we have to have a good business model. That means we have to have a good budget. We have to budget a film. You can't do anything without having a budget because you have to prove to people that the money that they're going to give you or invest with you, you're going to spend it wisely. You're not going to spend it on something else. So you have to have that business acumen to be able to make a film, right? However, you know, one of the things that Harry, especially because I've done 3 films with Harry, is we always try to involve the Anglo-Indian community. So if we're casting a film, if we're looking for crew, we'll always give Anglo-Indians a chance, right?
Mm.
We'll always give them a chance and we'll encourage them to be part of the production because we want people to be able to earn money as well. You know, we don't ask people to work for free. Everyone gets paid, which is unusual in India. Not everyone in India in films gets paid. But if you're working for me or with me, you're going to get paid. So, you know, we've always given Anglo-Indians the chance to do that, and they're very grateful for that. But when we ask the community to invest in our projects, it's not forthcoming. There's only a few people who always are the same people who will back this type of venture. You know, now I'm not saying they have to do that, or you know, not a lot can afford it, but again, you know, there are people who could afford to put money in to help the community make films because we include the community in those films. They're about the community and we promote the community. We're keeping the community alive. You know, all of our subject matter in the 3 films that we've done together with Harry, they're all about the community. You know, they're nuanced towards either something historic about the community or what the community is doing now, those sorts of things. So you know, we try and stay true to the Anglo-Indian community. We always portray them in good light. We're not after showing our community in a bad light, you know, because my mum and dad were also investors in my first film. And the first film, you know, it was very special because it's about immigration, it's about family separation. That's why Harry called it Going Away. And of course, my mum and dad did that, you know, 3 times. So it's my mum could see that, and I wanted to make her proud, and she was really proud of it. So yeah, I suggest people go to YouTube and see that film.
I mean, I wherever I go, I actually put it on, right? Because it was such a moving film. I really,
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. And then I followed it up with the trailer of Calcutta, I'm Sorry, and then
Mm.
with the Indian in Me. Now, the question that I have been asked, because I've had a conversation with Leslie regarding this, is how should we approach these OTT platforms to push our content on? What should be our way of thinking when it comes to this, of making sure it's out there?
Yeah, yeah. See, this is a double-edged sword. We we're making films that we want to portray the community, Anglo-Indian community, but we're such a small community. Even though the subject has mass appeal, it still is a small community. So to get that film to a very broad audience is very difficult. And if we look at The Indian in Me, the one that we finished last year, that's a 28-minute film. Now that cost about $16,000. Okay, which is nothing. Absolutely nothing. And to be able to create a product that we may be able to sell, we'd need to be at least up around the $200,000 mark. Easy have to be up around the $2,000 mark, so we could employ actors that have a higher profile, so that we had more time on set when we're shooting the film to reshoot scenes or to add extra scenes, or instead of making a 28-minute film, we'd like to make a 1 hour film or a 1 hour 20-minute film. This all costs a lot of money to do this, because you've got cast, crew. If you want to have a good cinematographer, you've got to pay to have a good cinematographer. But not many people know how many people are involved in actually making a film. And once you've shot, then you have to do something with all of the scenes have to be edited together. Then the music has to come, and then there's other technical aspects. All of that costs a lot of money. So, that's why when we did shoot The Indian in Me, I had to be on an incredibly tight schedule to do that. So, and I can't tell you how thankful I am to the cast and crew, people like yourself, who worked, did an incredible job. And the cast and all of the crew did an incredible job. We shot that film in 3 days, if you remember. 3 days.
Fun.
And we completed the whole film in 17 days. All the editing, all of the music is original music. The colorization, all of those things, we did very quickly. But we don't have the funds to promote it.
Now,
no one has the money to promote it, because it costs you more to promote the film. A $16,000 film would cost maybe $80,000-$90,000 to promote. That's unfortunately the catch-22.
Now, moving forward with your next goal in mind, what is your next film? What plans you have in mind?
Well, several years ago, when I was in India. I think I was shooting a few little documentaries, and I went to Goa because I was interested in the music scene in Goa. Because someone told me, there's a lot of jazz music in India, and I sort of went, "What? Jazz music in India? What the hell is that about?" So, curious subject. So I went there and I started researching it, but then, I had other projects. And as I said, I've got businesses in Australia apart from filmmaking. So that took up time. But now I'm returning to that subject. So I'm going to make a documentary film about jazz in Goa. And from that will come all the other aspects around other types of music in India as well. So it's a documentary, but it's not. I hope people aren't going to think it's all about history. No, it's not. It's a cinematic documentary, which means it's going to look like a film, but it's factual. It's a documentary. So that's where I'm up to at the moment. So we're doing the research. I'm flying to Goa on the 25th. I'll be in Goa on the 25th of April. Harry McClure's coming with me. and also an assistant director, Bernard Gonzalez, is meeting us there. And we're going to spend time with Colin de Cruz, and we're going to catch the International Jazz Festival in Goa as well on that day. So around the world, there's an International Jazz Festival. We'll be there. So then we'll start interviewing bands, solo artists, musicians, venue operators, to get an idea of what we will come back to shoot later in the year. So we're not shooting the documentary in April, May. We're researching it. But what I will do, I will be shooting a promotional, teaser for the documentary while I'm there to raise. I can show people that and say, look, this is what we're doing. How about putting some money in, or how about joining us as a producer, or come in and tell us your story. We want to hear stories, about music. That's what we want to know, because what I've found, people in India, Anglo-Indians, Goans, lots of other people, even Indians, are passionate about Western music. They just love it.
So I've actually, you sent a link regarding the jazz festival that's happening right now with Denzel Smith.
Yep.
That's happening on the 12th.
That's one that Denzel's.
Okay, yeah.
Denzel's doing a theatrical production in Bombay. He's doing a stage production about jazz. But I sent a promotional poster. I shared it.
I've got a request from a person here in Bangalore, because I sent that, and then we were talking about that, and what we want to do in the jazz documentary is the music, the Anglo-Indians and music in Bangalore, and how a lot of Anglo-Indians, a lot of livelihoods are in DJing, playing these clubs between Mysore and Bangalore, and a lot of history behind that. So that was the thing. Please tell Nigel that. So do keep that in mind.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Also, there's a person who would say that I would like to put money in. So I'm going to meet him on next month first, and we're going to discuss more about this.
Yeah,
right?
That's great.
So Nigel, keep it open. Right? So Nigel, I just end by asking is, what can you do for GAIN as a network of this, and what can GAIN do for you?
Well, one of the things that, I don't know if people know, but I'm on the board of GAIN. So I have an involvement. And when we transitioned from the Indian in Me website to GAIN, that was part of our initial group with Richard and other people. So one of the things that we want to do with GAIN is we want stories. We want real stories from people. So we can make short films, about stories that people share with us about their family or about their personal journey. People love hearing about personal journey stories. They just love it. Now, with digital technology and cameras and phones and, people, instead of writing a book, you can make it just a little short film, 9 minutes to 15 minutes, put it on the internet, share it with your family. Those sorts of things, last forever. They're like an archive that you can leave for your grandchildren. You can share them. People love hearing these personal stories, especially stories that involved people making a journey from one country to another, and their struggles and their victories and that sort of thing. I mean, I've done it. I've lived in 2 different countries. So, that's one thing that we've always found exciting. And somebody's story could also evolve into a feature. If it's a great story, we can also change that and make it into a film, which would be fantastic. But I think for me personally, as a filmmaker, GAIN is very good because I can also put content onto the website for people to look at, stuff that I find interesting, But also I've got lots of very short little monologues about Anglo-Indian history and Anglo-Indian characters and You know, I've got some documentaries many years ago. I think about 2012, I made a short documentary. I think it's 22 minutes, and it's about a pilgrimage from Chennai to what's that cathedral there that's very popular? Valankani.
Well done, yeah.
I accompanied them on the walk, and I recorded, you know, them traveling and talking, and so that's a great little documentary there. And again, it's free, it's on YouTube, but they're the sort of things that I can put onto the GAIN website so that people can go and have a look, you know. So yeah,
I mean,
it's a
look,
great initiative to have this interaction with people, you know, all over the world. That's the great thing. It's a global network, so
when when we had gone to well, I was in Cochin, right? We met Shelley King, right? And I keep telling this people. So she's an actress in the UK with Coronation Street. Have you met her? Do you know her?
no,
Yes.
Harry was talking to me about
So
it.
yeah, and I was like shocked there. And I mean, this is the potential that we have if we can really network and get to know these people, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, having even Denzel Smith act there with Anglo-Indians around the world, that would be something
Well,
incredible.
well, you may know that I actually, you know, tracked down Denzel to act in Going Away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you know, I looked around for an Anglo-Indian actor that had already some credibility in the Indian film industry, and Denzel was perfect. So, you know, Harry and I contacted him and said, Denzel, can you come and be the star of our little film and, you know, give us a bit of a discount on his. So, you know, again, that was uh, a great boon for the film was having Denzel Smith in it, you know, and he did a good job too, Denzel. It was a lot of fun. We had such a great time making that film, and that's why I loved it and said, yep, this is what I want to do now. I want to make film because we had such a great time. But I have to also say, you know, um, the good thing about making film in India is the
Nigel, you
the level of competence, you know, the level of competence of the crew. They're such fantastic people. And you know, I just love working with the Indians. They're so dedicated. You know, it was great, really. And you had fun.
we had more than fun. Come on, Nigel, we had more than fun.
And that film, you know, that little film of ours has won a film festival award in every single major city in India.
uh, I so the question there was, when are you making a full feature length film? So that was the question asked. So when
When
is
I can
it?
get, I've got 3 films ready to go, 3 feature films ready to go. Right, films that are written. Yep. The one that I really want to make is called Boy in a Cage. But it's nothing to do with the Anglo-Indian community. It's a worldwide a film with mass appeal, and it's about a boy who begs for money in a cage. And this is based on a real character that I met in India, a young guy who was in a cage on a bunyias cart, and his mum or his
Hmm.
brother used to push him to the church and leave him there all day, and he used to beg, and then they'd come back in the afternoon and wheel him back to the slum. Now that's a true story. So that film, I've just about finished it. Harry's working on it as well with me. So that's about a $2 million film. That's where we're at with that one. So the sequel, people have been asking me to write a sequel to The Indian in Me, and I've already started writing a prequel to The
Hmm.
Indian in Me. So each one of those films is about $60,000.
All Chennai,
All shot in
obviously.
Chennai, all of them. Yep. So yeah, if someone can give me $2 million, I'll get to start on boy in a cage. But if someone gives us 60,000, we can start on the prequel to The Indian in Me, which is a fantastic film, an absolutely fantastic film. Because if you've seen The Indian in Me, when we wrote it, we wrote it in mind for a prequel or a sequel, because we've left it at a certain point. And I won't give anything away, but the prequel is going to be an amazing film. Absolutely an amazing film. And we're looking for lots of new talent. We're looking for lots of new talent. So, you know, if you're an actor, actress, or if you've got a daughter or a son who's an actor or an actress, or you've got someone in your family who works in the industry as a crew, you know, look at investing in something that they can work in, because that's what it's all about. Employing people from the community.
I mean, as simple as that.
Get your checkbooks out, people.
Thanks, Nigel. Appreciate the time taken out. I'm just looking forward to put this out, and I'm really looking forward to a lot of reactions and people saying I want to do it. I'm positive that's going to happen. Thank you for the time taken out, Nigel, and have a great day.
You too, mate. You're doing a fantastic job. I applaud you. You're working hard. That's good. And you've always got a place in a film with me and Harry. Always.